Welcome back to Stack Shack Sports. As promised, we're going to talk a little bit about USC. So there were two big games last weekend where you had Notre Dame and USC both opening up their schedules. First game of the years. Quite a few questions all over the place for both teams. And yesterday we talked about Notre Dame. Today we're going to talk about USC. So USA comes into this season very highly touted. Caleb Williams coming off of a Heisman Trophy win. Lincoln Riley, finally having some of his own guys there as far as a recruiting class. A lot of young players, some big transfers on defense, a renewed focus on defense. How many times have you heard that with Lincoln Riley teams? Interesting to note. But a lot of expectations for USC this season. Last season, you didn't know really what was going to happen. We knew Caleb was good. We knew Lincoln was good and probably going to get that offense moving. And they had some big transfers. But some of those transfers are gone now. Now it's, more of a USC team. Guys that actually were recruited to come there by, Lincoln. Some freshmen. A lot of freshmen out there on the field. So a lot of questions. How would Caleb look coming off of a historic season? Got a bunch of records. How would he perform? Would he have any regression? Would defense have figured anything out? What new wrinkles would Lincoln have? And then how would that defense look? Because that defense was terrible last year. Is it any better this year? And can they be a top 10 team? Can they push for a playoff? They also have the whole situation of this is the last year in the Pac-12, right? Moving on. The Pac-12 itself is kind of dying after this year. So lots of questions going into this season for USC, for the Pac-12, and what was going to happen. They played San Jose State, won very handedly, although I don't think they covered, so that was kind of interesting. But put up a bunch of points, but they gave up a lot, and that is my biggest concern with USC this season. That defense was supposed to be better. A lot of the talk, you hear the announcers talking about how, this defense can't wait to play, can't wait to show how improved they are. They gave up 28 points to San Jose State. They gave up almost 400 yards. 400 yards to San Jose State. That's just not good. At half, they're up 21-14. You gotta be more dominant than that against the San Jose State teams. The complaint that we had about Notre Dame in previous years, that we talked about how we were impressed. They walked in, they showed Navy who's boss. I'm expecting that from all the top teams. Yes, they're gonna beat San Jose State. I don't think anybody was really worried. I don't know, 21-14, it was getting a little close there. Put up 21 points in the third. Now, that also comes with a kick return, and it comes with that weird fumble play where Caleb gets it and then flicks it up because all the DBs ran in. Incredible play, but that's 14 points right there. You take those 14 away, that ball bounces a little differently, and Caleb can't get the ball out, gets maybe sacked on that play, and you don't return it for a touchdown, this game just got really close. And that's just disappointing, frankly. Caleb had a good day, 18 for 25, 270 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They did put up 56 points. He did look good. One concern, though, I have with Caleb in the offense before we just start ripping the defense, Caleb, to me, is definitely one of the most talented players I've ever seen in college football. He looks like Patrick Mahomes out there, but in college, the way Patrick looks in the pros, he is a playmaker. They threw for 341 yards total between the two quarterbacks. This offense, with Caleb at quarterback and Lincoln Riley calling plays and drawing these great schemes up, was very interested to see Cliff Kingsbury coming over, bringing some of his kind of air raid style to go along with Lincoln Riley. Had some really good play calls. That offense is humming, and I'm not real concerned. They're going to put points up on pretty much everybody. But I do have a slight concern about Caleb Williams. Maybe not in college, but in the pros. He's definitely one of the best prospects we've ever seen. So, we're getting nitpicky here if we're complaining about Caleb Williams because he did, good completion, decent completion percentage, 4 touchdowns and 270 yards passing. That's a great day. But I have a slight concern about the capability of Caleb to take what's given him. What happens when he doesn't have the best athletes all over the field and he can't just run away from defensive linemen? What happens then? Can he sit in the pocket and pick apart a defense? I haven't really seen it. Now, maybe that's hard for him to show off against San Jose State because their defense, isn't as good and he does have the ability. So why not just run around and make plays and throw the ball all over the field and get easy touchdowns? He has a cannon of an arm, can make every throw, is good at getting out of pressure and extending plays. But I'm not sure if I'm seeing some of the fundamentals that I would like to see. Some of the, let's just take the easy stuff. Every play is spectacular with him, but he's going to have to learn over time that every play does not need to be spectacular. And that's my concern with Caleb. But they're going to be fine. He's a great quarterback. I think they'll be able to drive down the field and score on pretty much everybody. The problem is the defense. The defense is very suspect, and it has been suspect in the past. Last season, that was their problem. To give up 396 total yards to a San Jose State team is pretty bad. I don't think the front seven looked particularly dominant. San Jose State was able to run the ball and throw the ball. Even on both. Very balanced. Their quarterback threw for almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, he threw it more, had a little lower completion percentage, but you give a legitimate quarterback, any top 10 team, any top 25 team maybe, is putting up serious numbers on this defense. Rushing, 6 rushes, 109 yards. 10 rushes, 52 yards. If you're looking at, first downs, 22 to 26. That's not a huge margin. And San Jose State had 3 penalties that really stalled multiple drives. Those 3 drives were stalled by penalties, not really the defense shutting them down. Total plays, they're averaging 6 yards a play. Yikes. Yikes. Averaging 7 yards a carry. You put a legitimate offensive line with a legitimate running back, you're going to be in trouble. Oregon is going to roll over this defense. Let's look at their schedule coming up. Nevada should have no problem. Stanford, probably no problem. Arizona State, probably not going to have trouble. Colorado, I don't know. We have no idea what Colorado is. It's a hype train with Dion there. They've got some good players, but they just don't have the depth. I think they're going to roll. Arizona, probably okay. Walk into Notre Dame. This is where USC's schedule gets ridiculous these last few games of the season. And I would have major concerns that they are going to lose multiple games here. Notre Dame, yes, Caleb danced around the defense last year, led them to a victory. Maybe they get that one. I don't know if they do, though. Notre Dame now has a legitimate quarterback and a very solid offensive line and run game. You're giving up massive amounts of points. And a Notre Dame team might be able to control the clock, just run the ball all over the place. They gave up 7 yards a carry to San Jose State. That is ridiculous. You can't do that and be a top 10 team. Utah, gonna run all over them. Utah is a physical team that will absolutely dominate that USC front seven. If they're giving up 7 yards a carry to San Jose State, they're going to be giving up probably 7 yards a carry to Utah, and Utah's a better team overall. Cal, not great, but watch it as a trap game. Depending on how these games go, either if they win both of them, they're going to be looking ahead to Washington. Maybe they come down a little bit off the high. I would really be worried about Utah. Win or lose the Notre Dame game. You lose the Notre Dame game, roll into Utah here, dangerous. Now, thankfully, they get Utah at home, so that might help them. But watch this Cal game. Washington. Washington is going to dominate them. Oregon's going to dominate them. UCLA typically has a pretty good run game. If you're a USC fan, there is a very clear world where you just can't score enough points. And it's going to be, heart attack city for USC fans out there with these 6 games. They should be okay through here, and maybe they can fix the defense. They do have the benefit of getting some extra time here to fix the defense. But come Notre Dame, it better be fixed. Because if that defense plays like they did against San Jose State, there's a reasonable chance they lose 4 games here. Any legitimate team is going to throw up so many points on that USC defense, it's just going to collapse. They can't score enough. They can't control the ball enough. They can't score fast enough. That's going to be the problem. It's not necessarily that they can't score, because they can score. They could probably put 45 points on pretty much everybody. They have that kind of talent. But if Caleb Williams is sitting on the bench all game because you can't get off the field on defense, you're going to have a problem. And that pressure is going to mount. And it's going to be the classic Lincoln Riley team once again. Look at all the Oklahoma teams. Great offenses, terrible defenses. Have to win a shootout against any good team. Any good team is going to move the ball on them. Interesting that we talk about Lincoln as just this absolute guru. And he is. His offenses are great. But he has yet to have a legitimate defense in his coaching career. And that is a big problem. That is something that Lincoln needs to fix if he wants to have any level of legitimate success, of success at the highest level here in college football. He can sit here, him and Kingsbury can come up with the best offense possible, the greatest schemes, all the best plays. You gotta eventually stop the other team. And giving up 200 yards rushing, 7 yards a carry to San Jose State is not the defense that everybody has been pitching. Oh, they're going to be so much better. They got these transfers. They're going to fix the defense. It is not fixed. And until it is, I can't put them in the top 10. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Leave a like, leave a comment, share it with a friend, and we'll see you tomorrow.